Welcome to the She Would Know podcast,
where curiosity meets expertise.
Welcome back to the She Would Know podcast. I'm Chelsey.
And I'm Shayna.
And today we've got a good interview. But before we get to that, how's everyone doing?
Well, I'm doing good.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that it's cool enough that my kids can play outside.
Yes.
Because in the summer, we can't do anything for more than like 20 minutes at 6 a.m.
Yes, exactly. Or if you're doing some kind of water activity.
Yeah, but even then, like my kids just turned bright red.
Yeah. Our kids have completely different skin tones.
Very different complexions.
Yeah. Oh, it is cooling off. Yesterday, I made a scavenger hunt for my daughter, trying to do more screen-free activities.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them was to go on our swing in the backyard.
Mm-hmm.
I like drew pictures for her and then she had to like guess what I was trying to tell her to do. It was kind of fun. I like drawing, so that part was fun for me.
No, that's really cute. I'm not good at making activities for my kids, but I want to be better.
Yeah, I usually don't. But at our girls' retreat thing, one of the ladies taught a class on screen-free activities. And I was like, yes.
Yeah, it was really inspiring. One of the ones I liked was painting with water just out on the sidewalk.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's genius. My kids will love that.
Yeah, or paint your wall in your backyard. Do you have a cinder block wall?
Yeah, we do have a cinder block wall. So I'm excited about those. And then just being able to spend time outside.
Yeah.
Just being able to go to the park and go on walks.
Yes.
And they're finally at an age where I'm not too afraid of one running into the street. Like, they tend to stay by me on the sidewalks. We don't have to bring a stroller.
Yeah.
I don't have to have another adult with me. It can just be me and the two kids going on walks. And it's so nice.
The other day, I took my daughter to dance class and my niece goes to the same dance class.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were like packing up and leaving. And my daughter and my niece were playing in the front yard of the house where dance was and whatever. And I was like packing up the baby. And then my daughter runs back and she's like, Mommy. And she looked so worried. And I was like, what's wrong? And then she like pointed and like said my niece's name. And my niece was like standing in the middle of the street.
Oh, gosh.
But I was glad that my daughter realized that's bad and like came and got help, you know?
Yeah. We don't hang out in the front yard at all. And so that's something we're still working on.
Mm-hmm.
Like teaching the boundaries of the sidewalk when we are in the front yard.
Yeah. Front yards in Arizona are usually pretty small unless you live in $1 million home.
Yeah, they're not the same. I mean, I grew up hanging out in the front yard, like playing in the driveway.
Yeah.
And I want that for my kids.
Yeah.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day. I don't know.
Yeah. But today I'm really excited because we're interviewing your sister about camping with kids.
Yes.
And that's something I'm very intimidated by. Like, my husband has taken our son camping once, but I don't know, the idea of just like not being in my home with all of my comfort items, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to talk to her and hopefully feel inspired to actually go camping.
She will inspire you. She's the best at it.
Yeah, make my husband day by saying, hey, let's go camping.
Yeah. Okay, before we jump into that, we have a few listeners submitted She Should Knows.
Yes.
These are some good ones. I was just looking at them.
Yeah. So these are all, if you haven't listened before, our She Should Know segment is all the silly to serious things that we wish we would have known earlier. And we have a form on our Instagram that you can go and submit all of your She Should Knows. So these are from you guys. I think this is the first time we're sharing from our listeners. So yeah, I'm really excited.
Okay, here's the first one. Apple's reminders and Google calendars can be shared with your spouse for easy scheduling, grocery lists, and to-do lists, etc. Yeah, my husband and I have all sorts of shared lists.
We don't have any shared lists, but we do a shared calendar.
Yeah. I send a formal calendar invite to my husband all the time.
Oh, that's smart. I don't even do that. I just put things on the calendar and he has to look at it.
Yeah, I like to send the calendar invite because then he sees that I'm scheduling it, and then whatever reminders I have in the thing will also go to him.
Oh, that's smart.
So I usually, if it's really important, I'll remind myself a few days before, 1 day before, 3 hours before, 1 hour before, you know, whatever, all the different reminders you can add.
Yeah, that's pretty smart. I maybe need to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one is not actually a submission. This is from my husband. So we're just going to call him out. All girlies should know that men are 169% more happy at home when they can golf at least once a week. Facts. I'm going to fact check that and say not true. Sorry.
Your husband's too old to be saying facts.
And making 69 jokes. All right, next one. Having a full water bottle with electrolytes mixed in can make you feel reborn.
It really can.
Really, I don't think I drink electrolytes, which is maybe why I'm always so thirsty, even though I drink a gallon of water a day.
Yeah, you should try it. I've tried a few different kinds. You want to hear all my reviews?
Yes.
Okay, Liquid IV is pretty popular.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it tastes okay, but it's like too sweet for me. But it is very effective. Like I was hiking once and I kept getting a Charlie horse in my foot.
Mm-hmm.
And I mixed a whole thing of Liquid IV and probably like 4 ounces of water and drank it really fast. And my Charlie horse was gone within like 2 or 3 minutes.
Perfect.
So it really works. It has higher sugar content than others. I've tried the one from Mixers and it honestly just tastes like dehydrated coconut water.
Interesting.
And then you put it in water.
So when it's powder, it tastes dehydrated, or when it's in the water?
It just tastes like coconut water.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then I've tried the one from Just Ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
And they have one that's like guava mango or like passion fruit guava, something like that. It's really good. It tastes delicious.
See, I just want something that tastes like water.
Well, you can get drops from Trace Minerals.
Okay.
And it's just like electrolyte and minerals.
Okay.
And just drops.
Maybe I need
but it
to
might
try
not.
that.
It's probably not going to taste just like water because they're salty.
Yeah.
But those are just drops that you can put in. And then there's another one from Trace Minerals that's like an orange flavored one that my naturopath recommended to me. And I like that one.
Okay.
So,
yeah, I do think I need to look into it because I drink a lot of water, but I probably need to get some electrolytes or minerals from somewhere.
Yeah. I really liked. I'm not that picky though. I liked all those ones I tried.
Okay, good to know.
Okay, here's the next one. Having dessert every day is okay and will not make you unhealthy. And I totally agree with that.
Yeah, I love having a sweet treat.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously balance in all things. Like you can't just only eat dessert and not eat other things. But
yeah, I think especially too, like after a well-rounded meal, a piece of dessert.
Yeah.
Great way to wrap it up.
Yeah. I'm still loving my Ninja Creamies. Yeah. And technically those are healthy-ish, so no guilt.
What is my go-to dessert lately? Chocolate chip cookies.
Chocolate chip cookies are a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a favorite fall dessert?
Oh, I love anything pumpkin. Mm-hmm. I actually made the pumpkin. You can get like the gluten-free pumpkin muffin mix from Trader Joe's. Mm-hmm. And that was my baby. I don't know if anyone heard that. Anyways, I added an extra egg and I took out 3/4 of a cup of the mix and added 3/4 of a cup of protein powder to make like protein muffins, and they were delicious.
Oh, nice.
So that's my recipe hack to make protein pumpkin muffins.
I love it. I don't bake, but I'll try the ones that you make.
Okay, I'll bring one home to you. I actually offered you one and you said no.
Oh, I did? Wait, no, you said they were apple muffins.
Oh, I make muffins all the time. So yeah, that's probably true.
I'll still try it. It just threw me off apple. I will try them. I like apple. I just was not in the mood right then. Okay, last one for today is infant and children's Tylenol is the same strength, just packaged and priced differently. And that's
no way.
Yeah. You just need to look at the milligrams per milliliter to make sure you're giving the right dose.
Yeah.
But as long as it's liquid, you can give them both.
That's so dumb.
Yeah.
Is the infant more expensive than the children's?
Probably. Well, and even then, you don't need the brand name Tylenol. Just get acetaminophen, the generic one.
Yeah.
And that makes it even cheaper.
Yeah.
So that is a great hack, especially as we're coming into cold and flu season.
Love all the germs.
Yep. That's great.
Well, let's jump into our episode. Okay, Nicole, welcome to the podcast. We're so glad you're here.
Thank you.
Today, we're interviewing my sister, Nicole, about camping with kids. She is the queen of camping and has been camping with her kids since, what did you say the other day? Since your first was like 3 months old?
Yeah.
And you've got your system down pat. You could probably pack yourself up to go camping in like, what, 45 minutes?
Just about. If we have groceries, we can be ready to go. I always tell people, give us a 2-hour notice. We'll be ready to go.
I love that. I remember you were saying the other day that your husband was going to be out of town and you're like, I think I might take the kids camping. It's just easier to have them camping than at home. And I think that's probably the opposite of what most people would say.
Yep.
But you are so good at it. So you're the perfect person to be interviewing about this. But Let's start with some rapid fire questions to break the ice and let everyone get to know you. We didn't prepare you with these questions, but they're not that deep, so don't worry about it.
Okay.
What is your favorite meal to make?
Probably my favorite meal to eat, so fettuccine Alfredo.
Perfect. What is your hobby?
Camping.
Perfect topic then. What are 3 words to describe yourself in high school?
I was a golfer and kind of a loner. Yes, a golfer, a loner, and a babysitter. Those are probably the things I like. Didn't have tons of friends. I was on the golf team, so I was always golfing, and then on the weekends I was always babysitting.
Okay,
I always
perfect.
thought you were really cool when you were in high school. So you should add cool to that list.
Finish this sentence. The way to my heart is.
Taking me somewhere beautiful.
Love it. What time do you wake up in the morning?
I've always been kind of an early riser. Like, I love going to bed at like 10:30 and waking up at 6:30. And with my kids, they're usually around 6:30, 7.
Okay. What is the best compliment you've ever received?
Probably from my husband's grandfather, who said, "Your house is a house that children can live in."
That's important. My mom had a sign growing up was like, "Excuse the mess, we live here." I'm like, yes, thank you. My husband does not understand that, but it's okay.
It happens.
What is one item you can't live without?
A car.
It's the first person. You're the first person who hasn't said phone.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could live without a phone, but not a car, because without a car, we can't go places.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
What do you enjoy doing in your alone time? No kids.
that's a rarity. Or you just maybe hanging out with Chelsey or my sister-in-laws, just like getting with other human beings who talk
Talking.
and listen instead of always talking.
Yeah, and like your children.
Yeah.
Talk at you. Don't listen.
Yeah.
Okay, last question. What is your favorite gas station snack?
Sometimes I love, like, you get the lemonade with the Rooster Booster at QT, like cherry, makes it kind of like a cherry lemonade. Slim Jims. It's my dirty secret.
Classic.
I love Slim Jims.
Never seen the lemonade. I'm gonna have to try that. I love lemonade.
QT is the best gas station.
That's what I've heard, but I didn't grow up going to gas stations, so
Yeah, we were a gas
Yeah.
station family.
yeah.
I'm not a big soda person, and I don't usually buy stuff at the gas station because I'm like, I could go get this at the grocery store for half the price or
Mhm.
whatever. But Slim Jims.
Gems are great.
Yeah, we grew up in a gas station family, and now I have become a gas station family. At the end of swim lessons today, Mia was like, "Are we going to the gas station now?" I was like, "No, don't say that in public. People are going to think we're like gross."
Yeah, my husband has gotten into the habit after he takes our son like golfing or whatever. They go and get Slurpees. And I'm like, no, this is not a tradition. Like, he does not need a Slurpee, even a small one that's like so much sugar. And then he doesn't want to eat dinner.
Oh man, well, let's dive into it. We've got some really good questions for you, and we had a lot of people submit questions too. Probably the most questions we've had submitted have been about this, so the people want to know all your expertise.
Okay.
Hey everyone, it's Chelsey here. I've been diving into a course that's been a game changer for my marriage. It's called From Pressure to Passion, and it's created by my friend Ariel Finlinson. If you ever feel like sex in your marriage is more of a chore or you struggle with guilt and shame around it, then this course is for you. Ariel helps uncover those myths and hurtful beliefs that we all carry and gives you the tools to create a fulfilling and fun sex life with your partner. And with our link, you get 20% off. So check out From Pressure to Passion by heading to the link in the show notes or ladiestalkinglove.com/she-would-know.
Can you tell us a little bit about your background with camping? Did you grow up with it? How did you become the camping queen?
Yeah. So as a kid, I remember we would go camping kind of often. It wasn't like every weekend or even every month, but in the summer, we definitely go out and go camping as a family. A lot more before you were born, but
Yeah, you guys did all the fun stuff before I was born. Nicole's 8 years older than me.
But then you guys started doing like Disneyland trips and vacations without me. So
Yeah.
But yeah, so just growing up that way. And then camping kind of stopped around when I was about 13 or so. We just kind of stopped going camping. Our dad hurt his back, so that kind of stopped it. But then once I went off to college, I made sure I had a sleeping bag with me, and I'd go camp on my own or get people to come with me and at least just go have a bonfire in the forest. So just nature, out in forest nature is my happy place. growing up in the desert, it's so ugly here, and everything tries to kill you when you're out here in Arizona, down in the valley. I just always loved learning about it and spending time away from a phone and away from the city. So
Okay. I love it. So you would say college time is really when you were.
that's when I was on my own, making it happen. Yeah.
It's a great way to make friends quick, camping with someone, because there aren't a lot of distractions. And all you can really do when you're camping is like hang around and talk.
It's true. And it was free. It was a great little study break. And I was up in Idaho, so there was so many beautiful places to go see.
And then what was your first experience like camping with kids?
First experience camping with kids. Let's see. So my oldest was about 3 months old. She was a pretty good sleeper. Like, we had good routines at home, and we were like, okay, we can keep her warm enough to take her camping now. It had to have been probably like in the fall sometime when we went. But I remember I spent a lot of the night in the car just holding her. We just slept in the car because she would cry, or you didn't want to wake people up, or I have to nurse her. And so the car, well, I'm doing this at home anyways. I'd rather do this outside looking at the stars than sitting in a room all cooped up and lonely. So first one I remember.
So interesting. I just can't imagine being like, oh yeah, I'd rather do this in my car than like in my bed with a bathroom. But that's just me. I'm like trying to like put myself in that perspective, but I guess like, just recovering still from having a baby, I just would not be like, oh yeah, let's go sleep on a bedroll. But that's so cool.
And I do have really easy births and pregnancies, so maybe that was part of it too. That like my body was fully physically recovered, but mentally to be out doing things I loved was a lot more helpful.
True. After having a baby, like you spend a few weeks cooped up, and you're kind of ready. Like, okay, let's get back to normal. And your normal's camping. So
that she's been going on road trips since she was 3 months old, all around the country.
Yeah. How many national parks has your oldest been to?
So this summer, my oldest and second have matched up with each other because we did some repeats, but they've been to over 30 national parks.
It's amazing.
Wow. Basically everything west of the Mississippi, almost, except the Badlands.
And you guys almost always camp when you guys are going to national parks.
Almost always camp. We can go. We go about 3 or 4 days, and then we'll get a hotel for a night, just to kind of let everyone get like a good bath, really clean, a little refresh, restart, and then do a little more.
Yeah,
camping.
Okay, so going back to your first experience camping with your oldest when she was 3 months old, what did you like learn from that? And like, did you guys start camping regularly with her, or was it a while? Like, was that a good or bad experience that first time?
So she's the oldest in the family of all the grandchildren, and so she was the only baby and the first baby to go camping with everyone. So everyone took a turn holding her. Everyone loved having her around. So it was a lot easier for me because I wasn't like at home by myself with the baby. You know, we tried like putting her on a blanket, and there'd be like weeds that would tickle her feet. Or, I mean, it was just such a sensory experience for her. She was so happy when we were out. So it was easier. Don't put them in a white onesie because it doesn't stay white and it never gets back to white. We just kept going from there. Yeah, we didn't like, oh man, that was so rough. We're going to need like a few months to get over that. No, I think probably a couple weeks later we went again on another trip somewhere.
Yeah. I always admired that about you guys. Is it like you having kids didn't slow you down or changed what you did or changed your values or whatever? You just kept doing what you're doing and did it with your kids.
Yeah, we want them to have a love of nature too. And so my husband and I both love it, and it's like our happy place. And so just this week I was talking to my kids, asking them, okay, where's a place you like to go when you need peace or you need to feel happy? And they both said the forest. So it's like, we're getting there, you know?
Yeah. That's awesome.
Looking back through all the developmental stages, was there any easier one or a harder one to know? I mean, your kids are still youngish. I mean, I imagine potty training is a lot easier camping because it's like, oh, you have an accident, whatever.
Yeah, it's true. I would say probably like the dirty diapers was the hardest because then you have that just dirty diaper hanging around in the garbage, stinking up everything. But they also can't run off and get lost as easy. So it's a little different.
Because that's something I was thinking about. Like, my daughter's a runner, and I like taking her places where she can be caged in.
Mm-hmm.
And I imagine a forest, they could just run away and get lost. But maybe
It's true. But I think something about them being out there and having that freedom to be like, I could go if I wanted to, you know, but they still have that little bit. But it's so new, and I don't exactly know where I am or exactly. It's not like the park they've been to before, and if I run, I know mom's going to chase me, and you know, it's not as fun. But it's like, oh, look at that stick. Look at this rock. Oh, look at that bug. That's a weird bug, you know. So,
Have you ever lost a kid camping?
I have never lost a kid camping. I have lost them in Walmart, and I have lost them at Costco. Both stores, like employees looking for them, like closed down, but never camping or hiking.
Okay, that's reassuring.
My kids get hurt way worse at home in the city than they ever have hiking.
I think there's like a good natural fear element when you're out in nature too, of like the outside is so unexpected. I better stay close to home. Whereas like you're in Walmart, it's like everything's pretty predictable.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's why they run away more. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah.
Or they just want to find the toy.
Yeah.
Like, I know they're here somewhere.
Okay, let's say someone is preparing to camp with their kids for the first time. What are the essential items every parent should pack?
Snacks. So I was asking my kids this today, and yeah, they love snacks. Obviously, your normal camping things, right? You're going to need a sleeping bag. Our kids all sleep in. My husband has old sleeping bag. So just like an adult sleeping bag is fine. You don't have to go get like a specific kid size sleeping bag. Camping bed or an air mattress, you know, something to sleep on top of. Tent, camping chairs. Every kid likes to have their own little spot they can sit in. And that you don't have to sit on your lap when they're filthy dirty. You know, you can be like, you know, you have your chair. You sit in your chair, not on my lap. Food and water to drink. Wood and matches if you can have a fire. And a lot of times in Arizona, you can't in the summer. So we have like a portable propane fire pit that we bring with us. So the kids can still have their hot dogs and s'mores that they love for dinner that first night.
And how do you choose a campsite or like a place? Because I know you don't always use campsites. And maybe you can explain what BLM land is. A lot of people probably don't know what that is.
Yeah. So here out in the West, we have BLM land, and that is land that is owned by the federal government that is free for anyone to use. So it's free camping. And a lot of times you can look it up. There's like freecampsites.net, and you can find free places to camp. They won't have like toilets or running water or anything that you can, some of those conveniences. But if you're looking for a free, it's good. But I would say if you're just starting off, easiest thing to do is just go to an established campground. It's usually $15 to $30 a night for a site, but then you have toilets and there's usually water somewhere. You can fill up your water jugs or whatever you need to. And you're around other people, so you have like that safety factor if you're concerned. And you might even find other families there and other kids for your kids to play with, which is always fun.
Yeah, and usually like state parks and national parks have campgrounds.
They do, yeah. And a lot of times I'll pick somewhere that I want to go or that I think is fun, because then I get to enjoy the experience too. It's not all about the kids.
Because they're probably going to like camping is them for very similar to for the kid, no matter where they're at.
Yeah.
I'd say.
They'll like anywhere you go.
Well, and on that note, I saw someone, I mean, this could be applied to anything, but I think it was Chan with the Boys on Instagram who shared, as a mom, sometimes we plan all of our activities to be kid-centric when we should really be doing family-centric, because it's your motherhood experience too. It's not just their childhood, it's your motherhood experience. So I like that you choose things like based off what you want, not just for the kids.
Well, you mentioned getting water for a campsite. How much water should someone bring?
I mean, it depends on how big your family is. We started off just using like empty apple juice bottles. We'd bring like 3 or 4 of those with us. Now we just have a big 5-gallon blue water jug. We just fill that up and bring it with us because we usually don't go to campgrounds. So that gives us plenty of water for cooking if we need it, for cleaning things and drinking.
How do you handle like bedtime routines, sleep arrangements? You said your kids were good sleepers, right?
I have been very lucky. My kids are good sleepers. Yeah. I'd like to think it's because we've like trained them to be good sleepers. But I think part of it too is that when we're out camping, they get so tired from all the stimulation and the playing and being outside so much. The first night is usually the worst night. So if you can survive the first night of camping, the second night is always better because the first night is so new and everything is so exciting. And maybe they've never seen the stars at night before. And that is just so fascinating for a kid who's never seen that. So we all sleep in the tent together. We're all in just one tent. Everyone has their own sleeping bag. Everyone has their own pillow. They can bring a blanket from home if they want. And my kids even have like claimed their spots in the tent. So like my son is always on the far right. My oldest daughter is always on the far left. And then my youngest is right next to me and my husband's on the other side of me. So just found a spot that works for everyone and they stay there and it works.
Do you have a sound machine or anything?
We don't. No. So we purposely made sure we didn't use anything from when they were young because we knew we're a family who's going to be traveling and camping. And so we don't have any sound machines or anything that specific they need other than a blanket maybe to help them fall asleep. But there are sounds at night. So, I mean, you have the whistling of the wind or maybe crickets or frogs, or you might hear elk walking around or things. So talking about that before they're going to sleep, like it's not monsters, it's not anything scary. We might hear birds or animals or things walking around, but we're okay, you know?
Yeah, my husband took my son camping once. I think he was like 2, and it was like the whole night. Daddy, was that a big elk? Daddy, what was that? Like the whole night. And he's like, yeah, we didn't sleep because all he just wanted to do was talk about the noises. I'm like, yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah.
That's a good tip to like prep them for that. Because I know my daughter would be like, that's a monster.
Meat a monster.
Tell us about how you manage meals and snacks, especially if you have picky eaters. I know you kind of have some picky eaters in your family.
I do. So they're starting to become picky. They weren't always picky. So I'm like, what's going on? But I always prep as much as I can before we go out. Like one meal we would like to have is tacos in a bag. You just have like those mini chip bags. And I'll cook the taco meat beforehand and I'll like chop up lettuce and cut up tomatoes before. Then when it's time to do it, all you have to do is heat up the meat and everything else is ready to go. Or we just keep it simple. If it's just one night of camping, it's always the same thing. They like hot dogs that they cook over the fire and they don't even want a bun. So it's just like the hot dogs. Some of them want ketchup. We'll have a fruit like grapes or bananas or apples and some carrots. And then they have s'mores after they're done with that. So, and then breakfast is like bagels with cream cheese and bananas. And lunch would be like PB&J and whatever snacks are left over. So
keeping it simple.
Yeah.
Things that don't need to be. Well, I mean, I'm sure you bring a cooler.
We bring a little cooler with us. We've gotten extra fancy now. So we have like a solar panel we can put on our car with a battery and like this fridge freezer combo thing that my husband has been so excited about using. So I mean, we've had root beer floats when camping before. Like we can go really fancy if we want to. My husband was just gone and he even took an Instapot with him and had Instapot meals for dinner. So
that's advanced.
It is. Yes. But while he was having his Instapot meals, the kids and I were here in Arizona having our little hot dogs and s'mores for dinner.
Yeah. And there's also freeze-dried meals, like Mountain House meals, if you want to buy those.
Yeah.
They're
those,
delicious.
They actually do taste pretty good.
How much are
Mountain House
those?
seems to be the best flavor. They're about $10 per thing, and there's 2 servings per pack usually.
Okay.
Costco has them on sale sometimes, like in a big box. It has like a breakfast, a lunch, and a dinner option.
And you just add boiling water.
And you just add boiling water to those. They're pretty easy. More pricey.
Yeah, definitely. Do you try to keep your kids entertained while camping, or do you just let them figure it out and like work through the boredom themselves?
Okay, so that is a very good question because it kind of depends on who we're going with. If my husband is coming along, he wants to have every minute planned of what we're going to do. Like, what hike are we going to do? What are we going to do when the kids get bored? Or what is there to do around where we're going to camp? Is there a cave we can go see? Is there a river we can go visit? So he likes to have everything all planned out. And we have a few other people who do too. I need activities for my kids to do so they're not bored when we're at camp. So we have a few favorites that we really like to do. One of those is pine cone tennis. So we have some old tennis rackets and the kids will just hit pine cones off out into the forest with these old rackets. That's been a favorite they like. But my youngest, we just bring sand toys and she'll fill it up with dirt, rocks or whatever. And they make little fairy gardens. But the last weekend we went camping, I don't like to plan things for them because this is their time to do what they want, to be creative and figure it out and be bored. And I mean, the art of boredom is great for them to figure out. And they spent the entire day from, they woke up like 6:30 in the morning till 3 o'clock in the afternoon when we forced them to stop because we had to go home. They were building a fort the whole day. So it was great. I just sat back and if they needed water or like more sticks, I'd go look for them. But I sat and read a book all day while they were building forts.
That's awesome. So creative too. It really just gets the creative juices flowing. And when there isn't like a show or toys to play with, I mean, kids are born to play. So they'll figure stuff out.
They will. And once they get out, I know people are really worried. They're like, oh, but like at home, they need to have this toy and these things to do. But when they get out there in nature, it's just amazing to see the calm that kind of comes, but the excitement because so much is so new. We do have one child that we always bring like a planned, prepared activity for. Painting is really good for her when she doesn't recognize that she needs a break from other people, but we recognize it. Like, why don't you go paint something? And so she has a little easel and paints that she can bring and always have like a canvas for her to paint something. And that always gives her a moment alone to calm down and to kind of de-escalate. And she's good to go, whatever she wants to do.
And that's so fun. She can like paint where you guys are camping.
Yeah, we have quite a few paintings of places we've been from her that she's done.
That's so special. So I know your kids love camping. Would you say that? They all love it.
Yeah.
But have you ever gone camping with people who have kids that don't like camping?
Yes.
How
does it work?
How do you navigate that?
It's tricky. I have some family members who the parents want to go camping, but their kids don't always like it, or the kids don't sleep very good, right? So the parents are up all night on the next day is so hard. But I always say, try it again. You know, it's something new. In my mind, everyone will love camping because I love it so much, but there are some people who just don't,
Yeah.
Kids don't like to be dirty. Like maybe have some sensory issues and like seeing dirt on their hands bothers them or things like that. You're free to go. Like we'll help people pack up if they're dying. Middle of the night, we've helped someone before get ready to leave just because it didn't work out. If you want to try again, let us know. Yeah, we're always here. But
so parents, be flexible.
You have to be flexible.
Yeah. If anyone ever needs a camping buddy, they should become your buddy because you guys are so accepting about it and just like so helpful. We've gone on adventures before where I have been struggling or I don't know, whatever. Like when we were in that waterfall and I ended up upside down and you guys were so great at helping me get out of it and so nice about it.
Yeah.
And you guys know what to do. And
Sorry,
you're not going to be like judging people.
Can we elaborate on how you ended up upside down in a waterfall?
It was terrible. Maybe Nicole should tell the story from her perspective because you watched it all. I was experiencing it. So I probably experienced it much more dramatic than it actually happened. I don't know.
So my husband and I are into canyoneering. He much more than I am. And so that is hiking with rappelling. So this is one of our end goals with our kids too. Like, let's get them to do this too. Because it's just a fun, kind of a lifelong sport you could do together as a family and see beautiful things. It's really opened Arizona up for us because we've seen so much of it. But now we're learning new places that you couldn't get to just normal hiking. But we convinced Chelsey and her husband to go with us to a place called The Jug. There's only one rappel in it. A lot of it's just river hiking. And then at the very end, you can either jump off a cliff into this pool of water or you can rappel down a waterfall. And since I have a bad back, I'm not allowed to jump anymore. So I always do the rappelling. And Chelsey was rappelling down and there's like a crack behind the waterfall you couldn't really see. So as she's coming down, her shoe got stuck in the crack. She's like, I'm stuck. And so I have a whistle communicating. My husband's up top. So I'm blowing on the whistle and he starts to lift her up and she comes loose and we get her down the rest of the way. Her shoe eventually came out, luckily.
Okay, but you forgot something. My foot got stuck, and I got my foot unstuck, but then my knee got stuck. Do you remember that?
I don't remember.
That was
me
the
being
really
stuck.
scary part, because like my whole leg
Your
was stuck.
face is in the, yeah.
And then he lowered me down, so then my head was going down. So when I say I felt upside down, I don't know if I was actually upside down, but I felt upside down
You're,
because
like,
the water was
laying.
like
Yeah.
coming
your
down
face.
on me.
Being waterboarded by
Yeah.
a waterfall. That's cool.
And that's probably the
Yeah.
scariest part.
Yeah.
The whole situation of like when her foot got stuck to when she was released and freely coming back down was probably maybe 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But it probably felt like an eternity to you.
Yeah.
It's traumatic. She brings it up all the time.
I know, it was traumatic.
Let it go.
Maybe I need to go to therapy for this, but it was very comforting knowing, as soon as I felt like I was in crisis, I looked at you and you could tell and you blew your whistle and I just knew you guys were going to take care of me. Like you guys know your stuff. Like if something crazy happens camping, you're the people to be with.
We've experienced probably everything that could go wrong. So
Oh, we should do
Yeah,
a
let's-
camping horror stories episode.
And let's elaborate on that. How do you prepare yourself and your kids for any challenges, bad weather, encounters with wildlife, like emergencies, etc.?
yeah. So I think the easiest way is one, know where you're going and know about the area. Like, are there bears in the area? Are there not? Is there going to be poison ivy? If there's going to be poison ivy, we've taught our kids, you pull up a picture, you show it to them, be like, look, we can touch most things, but we don't want to touch this one because it's going to give us an owie if we touch it. So just gotta look out for that. So you yourself, just be prepared. Look at the weather. Is it going to rain? Is it not? We've learned that we always just bring rain gear because, surprise, rainstorms can come. So we have some umbrellas. I don't think our kids even have rain jackets, but they're Arizona babies. So when it rains, they're so excited and love it. But I always make them bring a jacket because even if it's the middle of summer, someone is still going to be cold at some point just because they're kids. They choose to be cold or not,
Yeah.
And temperatures can drop a lot at night in the desert.
They do. They can change. They might be really hot during the day, but since they were so hot, once that sun goes down, some things you can't really prepare for. It just comes with experience, and just know that. Be flexible. And if you stay calm in a crisis, the kids will be calm because they know fake it till you make it, Yeah. If you don't really know what to do, let them know it's all going to work out.
Have you dealt with any health emergencies, broken bones, sickness?
We went camping one year for my birthday, and this was when we had a pop-up trailer. We were setting up the trailer. We weren't all the way done, but my son was climbing around inside, and he fell out and fell backwards and hit his head on the ground and cracked his head open. So, well, okay, what do we do? Well, we took my shirt off and gave it to him to hold on his head. My husband jumped in the car and drove him down. We were close to Payson, so they just drove into the hospital and glued him back up and brought him back to the trailer a few hours later. And we slept that night, woke up and drove home.
Oh my goodness.
And then on one of our most recent campouts, we were with another family we go camping with every year. We kind of meet somewhere halfway. They live in Utah. We're in Arizona. So we were at Great Basin National Park. And the kids were preparing a play that they were going to do for the adults at sunset. It was like a sunset play for us. And one of the kids was climbing up in a tree. He fell out of the tree and broke his arm. And there's nothing around you there. I mean, the nearest hospital was about 4 hours away. And so they're like, well, one of us will take him in. And then a grandfather was coming to meet them to take to like wait with them at the hospital while the dad would come back here to get the kids. And so in the long roundabout way, the boy ended up coming back to the camp out and we finished the time off there.
Okay.
But we watched their kids for them and like took their kids hiking while they took their broken arm son to the hospital. And I mean, it's just flexibility.
Yeah.
Your plans have to be able to change.
Yeah, and you guys were at that church camp out when the girl fell off the zip line too.
Yes.
And the helicopter came, right?
A helicopter came and had to life flight her out. She ended up being okay. And
I mean, worst comes to worst, you do exactly what you would do at home.
Mhm.
You pack up and go to the hospital.
in our early camping experiences, it took time for us to learn how cold we could camp with the kids.
Mhm.
So we only had one at the time, and it just got too cold for her. I mean, we had a big, fluffy bunny suit that she was wearing to stay warm. She just did not like it. And so it's 2 a.m. we packed up and drove home because no one was sleeping anyways.
What
It's just too
temperature?
cold. Right now, we're at like 30 degrees where we can be good. But
Okay.
before it was 40,
Mhm.
was like the lowest our kids would do. And when it starts to get really cold, we will put hand warmers in the bottom of their sleeping bags with them. And that helps them stay nice and warm and doesn't burn them. Or we have other friends who will use hot water packs. They'll boil a bunch of water and put it in these hot water bottle packs.
Old school.
Yeah, like the old school, like the red rubber things. They have those. They'll put them in their kids' sleeping bags to help them stay warm if it gets too cold.
That's smart.
Do you have like safety rules for your kids, or I mean, I guess for the adults too, that you guys go over, or is that like?
Yeah, so my kids know when they want to go off adventure and explore, they're starting to get more freedom now, but at first it was you have to be able to see the car or the tent. If you can't see the car or the tent anymore, you've gone too far. If you get lost, you just stay where you are and yell for someone. Someone will find you. We should have whistles for all of them, but we don't. So maybe we'll add that in for next year's camping splurges. But just this last camp out, I said, okay, you can go as far as you know you can make it back. And so that was a little scary. I let my son go off on his own for about 15 minutes. I was like, if I don't hear you in 15 minutes, I'm going to start walking that way and come find you. He explained to me the path he was going to go because we had gone out together and explored a little bit. So he was going to go down this little ravine, up it to the road, and there was like a puddle of water. He wanted to get a bucket of water to make a bunch of mud for their fort. It's like, okay, you got 15 minutes, and then I'm coming to look for you. So that was a little scary, but he made it back. Soaking wet because he was running to make sure he was back before 15 minutes was up. So he, like, half his water was on him, half of it was still in his bucket. But
I could just imagine him being so earnest about this.
yeah, okay. Make sure you can see the tent in the car. No hitting each other with sticks. And no throwing rocks. Those are kind of like the 3 main ones. Yeah. Keep it simple. They have so much fun.
That's so fun. Okay, so this was a question from a listener, was how do you do bedtime when it's still light outside?
That one is hard because in the summertime, especially if you're going further up north, or even if you just change time zones, depending how far you're willing to go.
It can be light till like 9 p.m.
It can be, it's just, we do our best, but we're flexible too. And just like, it's a different situation. If they're really not tired, I'm going to spend my whole time trying to get them to fall asleep instead of just letting them enjoy extra time.
Yeah. Because I know some kids are just like, you have to put them to bed. They need this much sleep or else they're just miserable, especially at the toddler stage. So that's why they have like the slumber pods and all those things now.
Yeah. For us, we just, you can stay up.
Yeah.
Or honestly, most of the time, like when they're younger, we've worn them out enough during the day that they fall asleep. Or if we know that they are just really too tired and they really need to go to sleep, our kids will sleep in the car and we can transfer them. So one of us might drive them around for 10 minutes until they fall asleep and then transfer them to their sleeping bag.
It sounds like in a lot of ways you have to like let go of control and let the routine be different.
You do. Yeah. Which I feel like it can be very hard for a lot of moms because you've worked so hard at home to establish such a good routine for everything. And then it's like, to let go. I don't have control. Like, there's going to be mutiny on the ship if we don't keep the order. But for us, by and large, it's always worked out just fine that way. And when we get back home, they know, oh, okay, we're back home. Order resumes. And at home, the schedule stays the same.
How do you teach them? Sorry, this is on a different note. How do you teach them to go to the bathroom in nature, especially girls?
Yeah.
Little girls. Because squatting's hard.
It can be hard, and they will get pants wet for a while.
Okay.
Yeah. We call it camping potty with like little girls. All my kids have been potty trained pretty young, pretty early, but I'll like help hold them. I'll like hold their pants, hold their legs higher up and push their body against my body, so they don't get
you become the toilet.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah. Or what we do is we have just one of those like little portable little mini potties and you just find a group of trees or just somewhere where people won't see them. And we take the little bucket part out of that. And you just dig a hole and put it over it. And they just have their own little mini porta potty. And
That's smart.
it works great that way. Everyone knows that's the potty area.
Mm-hmm. Growing up, Dad would get an old tire, dig a hole and put the tire over it. Do you remember that? And you'd sit on the edge of the tire and like poop into the hole or whatever.
Yeah. Or you have them like hold on to a tree, sit on the edge of a rock. Yeah. Definitely harder for girls. Yeah. Boys are no problem. Like, just get on a tree. Don't let anyone see you. Go. And they're happy to do it. So
yeah, no, they relish that.
Yes, I get to pee on stuff.
Okay, last question for you. What advice do you have for parents who are nervous about camping with toddlers or babies?
Just do it. Find a family or even just a single person who's been camping before that you trust and want to go with. Try it. And try it more than once. So just like this last year, our kids have slept good on the first night of camp because they just get so excited and it's so new. But we're always willing to go with anyone. We have people who've been telling us that they want to go. We say, okay, how about this weekend? And well, they keep having an excuse, but we just leave that open invitation. We'll go anytime. Let us know.
My husband wants us to go camping so bad. He goes camping and hunting and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm the one who's just, I love my sleep and I don't sleep well if I don't have my perfect situation.
Your 14 pillows.
It's not 14. It's like 9. But yeah, so I'm the one nervous and it's like my kids also, I did not do what you did and they have their sound machine and they have their separate sleep spaces and it's dark and I'm just so nervous about that part.
And we have people who do bring their sound machines and kids sleep that way, or they'll try to really keep that routine, put their kids to bed at the same time. Darkness is the hardest one because it's harder to control. And another thing my husband and I have done is invested in good camping pads for ourselves. So that even if, our kids always end up on the ground anyways, not on their camping pads. So at least my husband and I have the chance to have a good night's sleep. So we make sure we have good gear and the kids get the leftovers and they're fine with it.
Okay, I have one more question because you said you used to have a pop-up. So you were a tent camping family and then you were a pop-up family. And maybe explain what a pop-up is. And then you're back to tents. Talk about the pros and cons of those.
Yeah. So we started off with just tents and we had our little mini Toyota Matrix and it was just my husband, I, and our youngest daughter and our oldest. And we packed that thing up and we drove everywhere. We drove all around Utah, Idaho, Wyoming, Montana, California. And it was space. So, a tent fit just fine. But it took up the whole car, like everything did. So then once we had a second, we have to get a new car because we always buy a car based on, can we fit all our camping stuff in here? So then we're like, if we got a camping trailer, a pop-up trailer, then there would be a heater in there. And so we could camp in the winter. So it extended our camping seasons. And we could leave the sleeping bags in there. And there was already a stove in there. And everything was ready to go. It was just hook up the trailer and off we go. And then our kids have gotten a little older. They're 8, 6, and 3. So my kids aren't super old, but they have enough experience now that we've switched back to tents because things break on trailers and it's expensive to fix it. And that's time you have to spend fixing it instead of having fun. So we're back to tents and sleeping bags, camping pads again. So
back to the basics.
Back to the basics. Better gas mileage on the car so we can go further. Like our Canada road trip this last year.
Okay, tell people about that because that is so cool. And then this will be really the last thing.
Okay, so we did the Mecca road trip and we drove from Phoenix all the way up to Jasper, Canada, which the summer just all burnt down. So we're so glad we did it last year. But we camped the whole time, except a couple nights. It was 3 weeks we were gone.
Yeah.
Almost 4 weeks. Kids and I took off first because my husband has to work. He's got to earn the money for us to go on adventures. So he can work remote, which is nice, but we didn't have internet mostly. So the kids and I took off for the first couple weeks and we went to Yellowstone and Tetons and we stayed in a teepee in Missoula, Montana for one night and we did fishing and just had the best time. We picked my husband up in Spokane, Washington at the airport. So that was our first hotel night, was the airport hotel, because he got in late that night. And then we drove up into Canada and camped out in the national parks up in Canada, and then drove back down and met up with Chelsey and our parents and did a big long bike trail and stayed in a Airbnb with them. So that was like our next hotel
trail.
night. Yeah, we did the Hiawatha bike trail. And then we camped all the way back home. Got home. COVID. So
Oh, fun.
but I mean, it was 20 days, I think it was, of just camping and driving. And the whole drive home was, do we have to be done? Like, do we have to go home? I mean, we pulled in the driveway. I'm not a crier, but we pulled in the driveway and I just cried because, like, I'm not ready to be home. That was so fun. Like, when are we going again?
That sounds amazing. And
So-
kids are just going to remember that forever.
What's your next big trip?
We don't have one, right? It's probably one of the first times ever we don't actually have a big trip planned.
Yeah.
So
We got to plan something.
we got to plan a good one.
Spencer and I keep talking more and more, like the frequency of our discussions about camping are getting, every few days we're talking about, oh, we need to go up north, we need to go camping, whatever. So
Let's do it.
I think we're past the contemplation phase and into a planning phase where we will actually do it.
So we'll plan for next year and we'll just have one big camp out and you can invite everyone to go.
It'd be so fun.
Just a bunch of families.
Yeah,
Yep.
tearing
Take
it
us
up.
along with you because I won't go otherwise. My husband said we can put a mattress in the back of the van for you and you can sleep by yourself. And I'm like, okay, deal.
That
We
sounds
even had
great.
people borrow our stuff before because I think that's one thing people don't want to invest in the gear before they know they like it or not.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and they borrow our stuff. And then they didn't like it. We need to borrow our stuff again and try it at least one more time.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have camping stuff to borrow from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Try your buy nothing page. I'm sure someone has something for you.
yeah. Well, thank you so
Yes,
much.
thank you so much. This has been very enlightening and very reassuring that it's like,
Yes.
okay, you can do it.
You can do it. Anyone can do it. If I can do it by myself, anyone can do it.
Yeah. Well, you're
It's
Superwoman,
fun.
so
You are. So where can people find you?
People can find me. I'm on Facebook
Yeah,
and
Facebook.
Instagram,
Yeah, make
Nicole Halbert.
okay.
okay.
There's a picture of me with my kids and like in the forest, I think.
Yeah. Okay,
what
we'll
my
put it
picture
in the
is,
show
but-
notes.
Yeah, we'll put it in. If
Yeah,
anybody
Chelsey
has
can link it
questions about camping, reach out.
for
Or
sure.
if you need a buddy to take with
If you need a buddy, let us know. We even started homeschooling so that we are more free to go
Yeah.
off and about.
Or probably even, you could probably give advice about campsite in
Yeah.
all sorts of places.
Anywhere on the West.
Well,
Sounds good.
Thank you so much. It
You're
was so
welcome.
fun to talk to you. We hope you guys enjoyed this episode and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of She Would Know. We would love to hear from you. If you have suggestions for topics and experts you would like to listen to, drop a line in the comments or connect with us on Instagram or TikTok at shewouldknow.podcast. If you'd like to support the podcast, please subscribe on Apple or Spotify and leave a review. We would like to give a special thanks to Adam Kump for our intro and outro music. And thank you for listening. Don't forget to stay curious, and we'll see you next week for a new episode.